Often when we think of meditation, we think of, sitting down, shutting the windows, pulling the phone out of the socket, um, shutting our eyes, and we think of, getting into some kind of state, or we think of, becoming something, or trying to get rid of something in ourselves. We talk about meditating thoughts away, meditating feelings away, or trying to quiet the mind. So I want to talk about meditation in a different way. What I would say is that true meditation has nothing to do with getting rid of anything in present experience. True meditation has nothing to do with changing present experience or manipulating present experience. It has nothing to do with transforming present experience or escaping present experience or even becoming something. It's got nothing to do with achieving some different state, some altered state, some transcendent state. It's got nothing to do with getting rid of feelings or getting rid of thoughts or getting rid of anything, in fact. True meditation, what I would say is true meditation is not actually a doing at all. So this really brings us to the question, who meditates? Because before we even begin to talk about meditating or not meditating, we need to ask the question, well, who is the one who meditates? What is this meditator? So the invitation is always just to gently, effortlessly, because there's no effort in this, you see. The effort is in the attempt to change this moment. That's the effort, that's the doing. We put so much effort in trying to change this moment or escape this moment or trying to push this moment away or push feelings away or push thoughts away, and that takes so much effort. That's the efforting, and that's the doing. So this noticing cuts underneath all of that doing and efforting. I'd invite you right now, just as an experiment, without any expectation, just to begin to notice what's appearing in present experience, the waves, as I call them, of present experience, all the waves that are appearing in the ocean that you are. So thoughts, sensations, feelings, sounds, smells, these are all just waves in the ocean that you are. So just to begin to notice these waves appearing and disappearing, notice thoughts coming and going. Again, without trying to change them, without judging them, without trying to push them away, without trying to cling to them, without trying to transcend them or get rid of them or obliterate them. Just to notice, just to acknowledge what's here. So just notice thoughts as they arise. All thoughts. Thoughts that we label as negative and thoughts we label as positive. Just notice thoughts arising and dissolving. And what you begin to notice is that thoughts come and go. It seems to be the nature of thought. It seems to be the nature of these waves, is that they appear and they disappear. And what you are somehow doesn't appear and disappear. What you are, you could say, is the space in which waves, in which thoughts are allowed to appear and disappear. It's like what you are is the ocean in which all of these waves are allowed to come and go. Not because you are allowing them, they're naturally allowed. They're naturally allowed to arise and dissolve in you. I've spoken before about the true meaning of acceptance. So acceptance is not a doing, it's not an achievement, it's not a goal, it's actually a word that points to what you are, which is somehow always allowing thoughts, sensations, feelings to arise and dissolve. What you are is just the capacity for thoughts, sensations, feelings, sound. So the invitation is just to notice thoughts coming and going, and to recognize yourself in that noticing as the capacity for thoughts. So what you are ultimately is not thoughts, because what you are notices thoughts. See, just in that noticing of thoughts, there's a built-in recognition there. The built-in recognition is that what I am ultimately is not these thoughts. What I am can't be defined by these thoughts, because these thoughts appear and disappear in what I am. What I am doesn't appear and disappear. What I am, however, of course, allows thoughts to come and go. So I can't even say in the end that I am not thoughts. I can't even say that I'm not thoughts. That's going too far. I mean, that would just be another thought. But what can be recognized is that thoughts are allowed. They may ultimately not define what I am, but what I am at the same time is inseparable from thoughts. It allows thoughts. It gives permission, you could say, for thoughts to come and go. So thoughts are deeply allowed in what I am, just as every wave is deeply allowed in the ocean. That's the intimacy that I sometimes talk about, the inseparability, the non-duality between what I am and everything that appears. Again, just to notice this very alive, tingly, massive sensation that we call the body. We call this the body, and it makes it sound like it's something fixed, something solid, something that somehow is outside of me. We talk about me and my body. But actually, again, that's all just an assumption. When you just return gently to present experience like this, you never find anything solid called a body or my body. You never find a static, unmoving, fixed, separate lump called body. What you find when you just gently return to present experience is this astonishingly alive, you can't even talk about it. This is the thing. It's so alive. Whatever this is, this mystery, it's so alive. At the moment you speak about it, the moment you even call it sensation, that's already memory. It's memory. We use memory to label present experience. So even to call it sensation, not even that can't capture it. And ultimately, this can't be put into words. And that's a beautiful thing to begin to notice, is that present experience, this tingly, alive dance of present moment sensation ultimately can't be put into words. We call it the body, and really we don't know what it is. It's we talk about the body as if it's something that exists in time, but again, when we come back to present experience like this, we just find this present moment sensations, moment by moment, always dancing, always changing, never the same from one moment to the next. So the invitation is just to begin to notice this aliveness that we call the body. This alive presence. And to begin to notice any feelings that might be arising. Because feelings are part of life too. This is really just about acknowledging what's here, acknowledging all of the life that is appearing exactly where you are. You don't have to look in a different moment. You don't have to wait for life. Life is already appearing as all of this. So just to begin to notice any feelings that might be arising. Again, it's not about trying to manipulate them, or it's not about changing them, it's not about judging them, it's not about trying to get rid of them, it's not about analysing them. You don't even have to name what comes up. Naming can happen. Thoughts can arise that name this as fear or anger or excitement or joy or bliss or sadness or helplessness. So thought is always labeling present experience. But that always comes afterwards. Thought always comes later. Thought tells you what you're experiencing. But the invitation is just to come back to what's actually here without the labels. What is life before it's labeled, before it's cut up? What is life before it's divided by thought? So just to begin to notice, to acknowledge whatever it is that is arising. Whether we call it sadness or fear or excitement. And the invitation is even just to drop those labels: excitement, fear, anger, feelings of powerlessness, whatever the label says, and come back to the actual, what's the actual sensation? What does sadness actually feel like? What does excitement actually feel like? Come back to these tingling, alive sensations, these present sensations. Even pain. I talk to a lot of people who are in a lot of pain, and it's so easy to go into your story of your pain. We talk about yesterday's pain, or this morning's pain, or tomorrow's pain, or we even talk about a lifetime of pain. But the invitation is to come out of that story. And the way you come out of that story is just by noticing what's actually here now. For a moment, drop the label pain, because the word pain can't begin to touch what this actually is. The word pain is a label, it's a memory, it's a judgment. It's a very heavy word. But whatever this is, it comes before words. So the invitation is just for a moment to drop the label pain and come back to the actual alive sensations that are always changing, from never the same from one moment to the next. When we call it pain, we somehow fix it. We fix it in time, because thought is always time. Whereas present experience is never in time. So again, the invitation is just to return to what's actually appearing now. You notice this effortless, this constant effortless arising of life, this upsurge of life, this dance of life that is always here. This is what true meditation is really about. It's about this noticing. When you just gently return to present experience like this, you never find anything static or solid or fixed. You never find this lump called the present moment, because when we think about it, we even call it the present moment, but that's still thinking about it. Or we call it now, or we call it present experience, or we call it this, or whatever words we're using. Well, it's still language, it's still words, it's still concepts. There's something a little bit dead about thought. There's something a little bit fixed about thought. It's memory. Thought is memory. It's from the past. It's conditioning. It's learning. So no thought, however beautiful the thought, no thought can begin to capture this alive, this raw, alive presence energy that we call life itself. Life itself is like, it's so alive. It's like a bonfire. It's like a fire that will burn up any of your attempts to capture it in words. The words just burn up in this never-ending fire of present experience. So you never find anything fixed or solid in present experience. You find this never-ending dance of waves in the ocean arising and dissolving, thoughts coming and going, sensations coming and going, feelings coming and going. And what you are doesn't arise and dissolve, doesn't come and go, doesn't appear and disappear. It's one way of talking about it. It's like this silent background of rest. It's ever present, no matter what the waves are doing. The silent background of rest is always here. It doesn't move, it doesn't change, it's not in time, wasn't born, isn't going to die. It's the ocean that is allowing all of its waves and ultimately is inseparable from all of its waves. And then you can't even talk about the ocean and the waves in the end. Even that metaphor breaks down. There's just this miracle of life itself, the miracle of this, of what's appearing. So where a lot of people get stuck, I think, with this stuff is they're sitting there and noticing, and what they begin to notice is a huge resistance to this moment. They begin to notice a big no to this moment. They begin to notice a fight against this moment, and then they think they're doing something wrong because they think that the resistance shouldn't be there, or the fight shouldn't be there, or they have an image of what meditation is, and they think that meditation it's about being a certain way all the time or feeling a certain way all the time. They think they're doing something wrong if resistance is appearing. But of course, from the perspective of who you are, even the upsurge of a wave of resistance or a wave of pushing this moment away, even that is allowed in. Even that is just another wave that is available to be noticed. Everything is allowed to arise and dissolve in this noticing. There's no ideal, there's no image that you have to live up to. That's why there's no meditator. When we talk about the meditator, often when we talk about meditation, often we're trying to be a good meditator. I want to be a good meditator. I want to be a successful meditator. I even want to be an enlightened meditator. I want to be the perfect meditator. But what I would say is that true meditation takes the meditator out of it. True meditation, as I think Krishnamurti said, is the destruction of the meditator. It's the destruction of the controller, of the one who is trying to control present experience. That's the meditator, the image of the meditator. So the image of the meditator isn't really who you are. What you are is not the meditator, the one who is meditating, or the one who is trying to meditate. So even if that image appears, that's something else that just can be noticed in what you are. What you are notices the meditator. It notices the one who is struggling to achieve something. It notices the one who is trying to meditate in a certain way, or trying to reach some kind of goal. That's just something else that is allowed, deeply allowed, to arise and dissolve in what you are. So you can see how what you are doesn't actually do meditation. You could say what you are is not the meditator. What you are is this wide open space in which all thoughts, all sensations, all feelings, all images, everything, the entire world, is allowed, deeply allowed to arise and dissolve. You could say what you are doesn't do meditation, but what you are is the space of meditation.